Hello people and welcome to another video. As you would have judged from the title of the video, we'll be learning Figma in about 45 minutes to 1 hour, which is the sweet spot. It's not too less where, I won't be able to finish everything or cover everything, or it's not too much to overwhelm you guys. It's just in the sweet spot, 45 minutes to 1 hour max. And I'm pretty sure after this video, you'll be able to create some mind-boggling UIs for both desktop as well as mobile. So to begin with, I'll show you the download and installation. Well, not the complete download and installation because I have already installed it on my system and I don't want to do it again because there are so many things that could go wrong. I don't have a proper backup for this. So I'll leave the link in the description. You can go to www.figma.com/downloads, which will get you to this particular page. From over here, depending upon your operating system, that is either Mac OS or Windows, you can click on the text, and for Windows it's about 73 MB and click on save file, and again the download will be pretty easy. You just need to install it on your system and log in through web browser. I'll leave another video link in the description, which is from some other channel that explains you comprehensively about the download and install of Figma. So once you have done that, you'll be brought back to you'll be able to find an icon on the desktop, and then once you open it, you will be brought back to this particular page. Not the exact one because I have so many things that I've created previously that are my recent projects. You will probably see this team colors as well as three Figma basics, prototypic basics, and the wireframing basics. Figma, which is basically tutorial. So let me just run through each and everything that you see on the landing page. To begin with, it's your profile. You can click on your profile section and see the other things. It has some sensitive data, so I'm not going to go there for now. Then you have search, wherein you can search your previously made projects. For example, one of them was demo UI, so I'm going to search for demo UI, or not demo, it's demo UI, and there you go, you can search for it. And not just yours. If you click on community over here, you'll be able to find some previously or pre-made designs from other Figma designers as well, which you will be able to access easily. So that was the search as well as the profile section. Profile section, you can explore it on your own. It's pretty self-explanatory. Then you have your recent tab. That was the tab that was opened before, where you can find your recent projects. If there are a lot of them, you can for me it's only these many of them, so I can just go double click on it and open something. But for example, if you are let's say if you become a Figma designer, you'll have a lot of projects over here in the recent stack, so you can always search for it in the search section if there are a lot of them. Then you have community, from where you will be able to install plugins and even some previous designs from the Figma community, or even contribute towards Figma community as well. And then you have your drafts section, which is the previously unsaved projects or even the saved projects, which you can later go in and design again. I mean, you can do the same from this recent tab as well. I'm not sure why this drafts section is given, but that's all right as well. And then you have your deleted section, where your deleted designs would be there for temporary amount of time, and then you can restore it if you have accidentally deleted it. So that was the draft section. Then of course the upgrade section, as it is. There is not much explanation needed in that. And then you have Plethora DevLabs. Plethora DevLabs is basically my startup, so that is something that I have given over here. You can create teams and collaborate on real time. For example, as you can see over here, this is the project that we have done under our startup, and if you're using the free version, you can collaborate with one other person, and if you upgrade it to pro or something, you'll be able to collaborate with multiple people as well. As you can see, I have another friend over here that we can collaborate in real time. So yeah, that was your team section. So then next up you have this section over here, which is importing a previous project, either XD or PNG or anything that can be edited over on Figma, or a project, let's say a project that you have downloaded over from internet, that can be done on Figma. So that is something you can do from over here. And then you have the new section, which lets you basically create a new file. We'll come back to this in a while. I'll tell you another way of doing it. That is basically clicking on the plus sign over here. It just works as a Chrome. One final thing before we move on to the actual designing, or basically learning the UI attributes and the elements, that Figma is a online software. Even though if you have downloaded and installed on your desktop, it doesn't matter. You have to, whenever you're using it, you should make sure that you have a good internet connection. Yeah, that's it. So next up, we have the UI elements as well as the attributes section. Okay, so let's continue now. Uh, Before diving deep into the UI elements and their attributes, let me first explain you the look and feel of this particular page. Over here on the left hand side, you have a hamburger icon, which has, of course, file, edit, view, which are all self explanatory. You don't need to go, like, I don't need to explain a lot of things about them. You can just try it out by yourself. It's easy. Then you have the selection tool, which is for selecting the artboards as well as the elements. You will see it in a while when we actually are working with these UI elements and their attributes. Next, you have frame, which is important. And as soon as you click on the frame over here on the right hand side, you'll be able to see different designs that you can choose from. You have phone, you have tablet, you have desktop, presentation, watch, paper. Paper are basically your documents. Then you have social media where you can put in banners, stories, and you can design multiple things over here, whatever is given. And then there is Figma community. As I said previously, you can design something and put it or contribute to the Figma community as well. Uh, so that was that, and then you have the UI elements in which you have rectangle, line, arrows. We'll be going through each and every one of them one by one for now. But let's just concentrate on the things that we have over here. Then you have the drawing tools, which are pen and pencil. Again, we'll be going through them. Then you have the text tool. You have the hand tool, which is very similar to your selection tool, but with hand tool you won't be able to move around with the elements, only the artwork. Then you have the comment section, which again we'll be looking through when we'll discuss about the attributes and the UI elements. And yeah, pretty much that's it. Over here you can rename it to, let's say, webinar UI, and it will be saved on the drafts folder, of course, from the recent one. Until unless you export it, won't be saved locally on your system. So you need to make sure of that as well. And when you have your own profile, you can share it as well. And play is basically presenting and interacting with the UI that you have created. And over here are the zoom options. Depending upon the size, you need to, if you want to fit it onto the screen, you can choose zoom to fit or 100% to 100%, depending upon whatever you like. You can do it freehand as well, but yeah, whatever. So to begin with, we're going to choose a frame, and for this I'll be using Android. There you go. And as you can see, I'm using the selection tool right now, which I can move from, which is, I don't need to explain a lot of these things. You guys will already know that. We'll just go through a overlook of every single element that we are seeing over here. After selecting the frame, we can start talking about the UI elements. To begin with, we have the rectangle. As the name suggests, you can create a freehand rectangle of it. But if you want to create a square, you can just hold on to Shift on your keyboard and make a symmetrical shape with the rectangle, which is basically a square or something. After the rectangle, we have the line tool, which again, as the name suggests, is a line tool. You can create lines. If you hold on to Shift, you'll be able to create straight lines, and if you move along the axis, you can move to 45-degree angle each. And if you hold on to Alt, you'll be able to create a diameter instead of a radius. So that was the line tool. Very similar to that, you have the arrow tool. The Shift and the Alt work as the same in the 45-degree angle. Then you have the ellipse. Let me just quickly bring it back. There you go. Then you have the ellipse. If you do a freehand drawing, you'll be able to create a circle, or basically an ellipse or an oval. But again, very similar to your rectangle tool, if you hold on to Shift and do it, you'll be able to create a circle, a symmetrical circle. Then you have the polygon tool. Polygon tool basically means three or more sides is makes a polygon. So if you hold on to shift, you'll be able to create a symmetrical shape, but if you just do it freehand, you'll be able to create whatever the shape you want. But another important thing we need to remember in the polygon is that over here, as you can see, this is something called as count, which is the side count or the corner count. You can change it to 5, which will give you a pentagon. You can also change it to 7, that will give you a heptagon, or any number like 12, it will give you a shape that has 12 edges. So that is the use of the polygon tool. Very similar to that, you have star tool, which probably I'm not a big fan of, because I don't use star tool a lot. But if you are someone who is fond of the star tool, you can go with it as well. So yeah, even on the star tool, there are two things that you can change. You have the corner count. Let's say this is 5, let's make it 9. So it will become a star with 9 edges, and then you can change the angle of it as well. So let's say 90 degree. There you go. Or you can reduce it to 50. You can change the angle of these edges. So that was the star tool, and finally we have the place image tool, which basically lets you place any image on any shape that you have created. For example, we have created this circle. Let's try to put one of the images onto that. Let's go to pictures, and let's go to, let's say, one of the designs that I have made previously. Let's say we choose this one, open it, and now it will ask you to put it in any other place. So let's choose this 12 edged polygon that we create. Sorry, 12 edges polygon that we created, and click on it, and there you go. The image will be placed inside that particular element. So that was the basic shape tools that you get. Then you have the drawing tool, which basically is a pen and a pencil. Pen works with a single tap on your mouse. You can create a freehand drawing, either an open shape or a closed shape. If you want to create an open shape, you can just click on the final one and click on escape, and that will be an open shape. But similarly, if you want to create a closed shape, you can do that by just joining the second last dot to the very final dot, and that will create a closed shape for you. And similarly, you have the pencil tool, which is a freehand drawing tool. You can write anything over it. Select that again. There you go. Something that you get on MS Paint. So it is very similar to that. So that was the pen and the pencil tool. Then you have the text tool, as the name suggests. It will let you to add text. And we'll be going through the attributes of each and every section a little bit later on, once we finish this section of basically the top section over here. So yeah, so that was the text tool. We'll come back to this a bit later on. Then you have the hand tool, which helps you move the artboard, or place the artboard in a convenient place that you like for designing. And then you have the comment section, which lets you add a comment if you're doing a real-time or collaboration. Let's say if I want one of my designer friends to add a picture over here, so I'm going to click on that and add a comment saying, please put a picture here, and hit on post. And whenever one of the teammates that I collaborate with sees this, he'll be like, oh, there is a comment over there, and he'll click on that and he'll see, please put a picture over here. And after putting the picture, or after finishing his task, he can just click on this resolve, and that will be resolved. But another thing is you will be able to reply it as well. So let's say we'll reply it with okay, and there you go. You'll have two comments, and once the image is placed, click on resolve, and the comment section or the comment pin will go up. So that was the basic tools that we had over here. Now let us look at some of the attributes. So let's select the artboard first and look at the attributes of the artboard. To begin with, we have the align tools. So you have, sorry for that. Yeah, align tools. So after selecting the artboard, if you click on left align, every single thing that is on your artboard will be left aligned. Similarly, that works on the center align as well as the right align. But we don't need that for now. Let's go back to the section what we had. And similar to what we did with these align tools, you have y-axis align tools as well. That was the y-axis align tools. Then you have the x-axis align tools for aligning it on the top. center of the x-axis and the bottom of the x-axis. So we don't need that for now. Again, let's go back to the normal state. That was the align tools that you had for the entire artboard. And I'm not sure if you would be using it a lot. And then you have the x and the y-axis placement of this in the background. If you can see, the x and y values are changing as I'm moving the artboard. That is basically the position of your artboard with respect to the background. Then you have the width and the height. Let's not meddle with that a lot because that is the standard size for the Android devices. Then you have the rotation, which you can increase or decrease. Let's say if you rotate it to 30 degrees, the artboard will be rotated to 30, but I'm not sure you'll be using that a lot because yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Then you have the corner radius. Let's do it as 30. As you can see, the corner of the artboards are decreased. Not just that, you can do it for the individuals as well. Let's say I want this one to be 40 and this one to be 70. As you can see here, it is 70, and over here it is 40, and the rest are 30 each. So that was the corner radius. Then you have the fill color. Of course, you can change the fill color to any other color you want. Not just solid, you will also have some linear gradients as well. You have linear gradient. You have just a second. You can just change the color and show it to you guys. You have linear gradient. You also have radial gradient. Then you have angular. All these things are pretty pretty easy. You don't need any explanation on this, but all the gradient ones. Then you have the diamond gradient as well as the image. Image is very similar to what we did previously, putting the image on this 12 edged polygon. You can do the same with your background as well. So let's now just keep it to linear gradient, and then you have your stroke colors as well. Sorry, the stroke as well. So if you click on this plus sign, it will bring the stroke over here, and let me put it to 7 so that it is better visible, and change the color to white. As you can see, the stroke has been added over in the background. So in the stroke color as well, not just the solid ones, you can also add the same gradient options whatever you had in the fill color. Let's say linear gradient, and change it to something like blue and red. That is the opposite. There you go. So there was something like that. So you can do the same with the stroke as well. Whatever the gradient options were there for you in the fill color. And then you have effects and exports, which which is not really important, but if you want to explore on your own, you can. And now let us look at the attributes of the UI elements. So before I start that, let me make clear of one thing, is that every single element that we have created over here has or the same attributes. So I'll be explaining it for only one of them, but every single one of them has the same attributes, so we don't need to worry about anything. So let us just choose this particular square for the example, and there you have the alignments. So for y-axis alignment, you have left, center as well as right, and for the x-axis alignment, you have top, center and bottom. So these center ones are really important to place the image or place the UI ones exactly in the center, because if you do it as central, and it just enhances your UI a little better. You'll know what I'm talking about. Then you have the x and y axis placement with respect to your artboard. As you can see, as I'm moving this square, the x and y values are changing as well. Then you have the width and the height that you can change, but I'm not going to do that for now. That's self-explanatory. Then the rotation is very similar to that we had for the artboard, and the corner radius as well. So that became a circle. Let me change to 20. And you can do it for the individual ones as well, not just a single one. So you can change it to any color you like, or any corner radius you like, for individual as well as the entire thing, and the rotation as well. Next up, we have the fill color. Again, very similar to what we did previously, and the same options of linear gradient, radial gradient, angular gradient, and everything else you're going to get over here, which was similar to what we had for the artboard color as well. Same thing with the stroke. You can increase the stroke so that it is visible properly. Let me change it to solid color of white, and over here also you get the same options of image, diamond, angular, radial, and as well as the linear gradient. Next up, we have effects. Effects are of four types in this. There is layer blur, which will blur the entire element. Then you have the background blur. That depends upon if you have placed something over it, which I'll show you when I'm making the demo UI. Then you have inner shadow as well as the drop shadow, which I don't think is visible right now, but there is a shadow under the element. So that were the effects. And then if you want to export this particular element, you can do it individually as well. So yeah, the same attributes are for the rectangle, the ellipse, the circle, the star, the polygon, and everything else. So that was the UI elements as well as the attributes. Now let us talk about prototyping. So for that, I'll just create a duplicate of this artboard by clicking on the artboard, pressing and holding on Alt on my keyboard, and then moving it over here so that I have two of them, and I can put in some interactions. So after that, let's click on prototype, and select this artboard and interactions, and on the interactions you can click on plus so that you can add a new interaction. You can click on this section. So on tap, sorry, after selecting the artboard, yeah, on let's choose element instead of the entire artboard. So I'll be choosing this element that we edited, and I'm going to click on add interactions. On tap of this element, we will navigate to the Android 2 page, which is this one. And similarly, when you click on the element of Android 2 page, okay, that was one of the ways of adding it, but the second way of adding it is you can just drag and drop it over on this section. There you go, and then add the interaction of Android 1 or anything. So whatever is convenient to you, you can do that, but I'm gonna, like, most of the times I choose to do clicking on this plus on tap, and then whatever the navigation happens after that. So yeah, that was the basics of prototyping. And now let us come back to the design section. Choose the first artboard and click on this play button so that you can see what are all the interaction that has happened. And click on present and wait for it to open up, wait for it to load, sorry. And after loading, it's going to come something like this. And once I click on this element, it's going to come back to second page. Well, we don't have any changes on the two different pages, that is why it is not showing up, but it is changing in the background. We'll see the prototype changing when we do the demo UI. So yeah, stay tuned. Now know the basics of the look and feel of Figma as well as the UI elements and their attributes. Now it's time to put everything together. So in this 15 to 20 minutes, or how much ever time this thing takes, we're going to make a demo UI which will look something like this so that we know how things work. So yeah, without just further ado, let's get started. Since this was the previous one that we created, let's delete both the artboards for now, and we'll be creating some new ones. Let me select the artboard, hit on delete, do the same with the second artboard as well. Now click on the canvas and choose Android. I'll be using the same one. And to begin with, I'm going to convert the corner radius to 20 from each side, and click on the background and change the background color to a little bit of light bluish. There you go. And that is not a necessary step, but it just improves or pops out the UI that you are creating. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. And now let's look back at the design that we are creating. We need four things. It's these two icons, the mic icon, the circle, and the text. So I have downloaded a plugin called as Icon Scout, which helps me with all my icons, and it is very easy to use. Once you have downloaded Icon Scout, this will be the interface that you're going to get. So and now I'll search for what was it? Let me just look at again the icons that we had: the hamburger icon, the profile icon, the mic icon, and the music icon. So to begin with, we need hamburger icon, which is the options, because when you search for hamburger it doesn't show anything. So inside options we'll filter it for the free ones only. You can use the premium ones if you have the facilities, but I'm going to use the free ones, and I'll use this particular one and save it as svg, not png, because if you save it as png you won't be able to change the color of it, and svg lets you to change the color with whatever the UI that you're using. I'm gonna increase the size to 20 by 20, which looks kind of fine for me. Yep, that's peace, and let's change the color to black over here, and let's do the same with the user as well. I guess I have used it before. There you go, the user, and again let's filter it to free ones only, and let's select this one because this is what I used for my practice design as well. Let's bring it back over here, and the width and height is quite good. Let's place it properly over there and remove the text placeholders from when we imported it. The next step would be to get the icons for mic as well as this music icon. We'll come back to this music icon after we have created the circle. So let's look for the mic icon and then put in the text, tap on the circle to start detecting. Okay, I forgot to do one thing. That is explain you what the UI that we are going to make. So this is basically a music detecting UI. Let's say you're hearing a music while you're traveling or something, and you want to know which song is playing. So, and this is the app that will help you to do so. As soon as you open, this will be the interface, and if you click and hold on this, it will start listening, and the AI or the backend will help you to get the song that is in the background. And also once the song is detected, you can play it if it is locally downloaded. It can detect and play it using Google Play or any offline music player, or you can also listen to it on Spotify as well as Apple Music. Spotify is for the Android users and the Apple Music for, of course, the Apple users, iOS users. So it's the best of both the worlds. Right, so let's get back to our design. The next one would be to search for the microphone. I've already searched for it previously, so I'm going to click on that and filter it to free again and choose any one of the microphones from over here. This is looking pretty good. Make sure that SVG is selected and click on insert, and there you go. But now we have to reduce the size to 20, so I'm going to just directly do it from over here. Width of 20 and the height of, let's say, 25. What about 30? How does it look? There you go. Yeah, I mean, it's just a demo UI, so I mean, it's the getting the actual dimensions it's not really important. Now let us click on the text tool, add the text over here, and the text would be, tap on the circle to start detecting. I'm just going to copy and paste it onto my design over here, so I don't have to type a lot of these things, and put it over there. Now as you can see, this has some shadows in the background, so let us put in the shadows first before we start making the linear gradient circle. So click on the icon or whatever the element that you have to put shadow on, click plus on the effects, and drop shadow is already chosen, so you don't need to change that. That is the default state. And now let's do the same for all the other things as well. Just click on the plus sign on the effects section, and there you go. So drop shadow is added on every single one. Let's move the icon scout to over here for a while. Right after adding the shadows on each and every element that we had put on our artboard, the next step would be to click on the ellipse tool and make a circle. Something like that, but it is 169, so let's just make it 170 so that it's even. And the next step would be to place it wherever you want. I'll be placing it in the center of the y-axis. Add the stroke of 3 maybe, or 2. Oops, sorry for that. Probably 2 would be good. And then add the drop shadow. After adding the drop shadow, I'll remove the fill color because we don't need that. And in the stroke color, I'll select the linear gradient and move it around just that tiny bit. Place in another color over here and change those blacks to the color which you put it in the background, that is the blue one. So it'll look something like that. Just a second. Let me add another one, or change this color to blue so that it's perfectly visible but not entirely. I just want it to be 0, something like that. You can play around with it as much as you want. So something like that, so it looks a little popped up. And the next thing would be to put in the music icon that is over there. Probably I would have already searched for it. I have searched for sound, not the music, and filter it to only free ones. Alright, my internet is a bit slow because this Gandu is installing something. मेरा भी slow है. It's fine. Alright, so once the icons have loaded up, I didn't find anything over here. Alright, so the next step after making the circle would be to put in the music icon. I have already searched for music icon before, so I'm going to select that and filter it for free. And you can select any music icon you want, but let's select this one for now. Make sure we are on SVG and insert it. It has been inserted over there. I'm going to drag it and drop it over here and increase the size to that would be fine, and change the color to the color that we put it on the background of our artboard. So we'll select the element, change the fill color to that. There you go. So that was how we created the first page. Now since the second page has the same icons and the same circle in the middle, only two things are changed. That is this icon of listening and the listening text actually. So what we're going to do, we'll just, instead of creating the entire thing, we'll just duplicate the first screen. So hold on to Alt on your keyboard and just select the artboard, hold on to Alt on your keyboard and just drag and drop it over there. And now let's make the necessary changes. We don't need this icon, neither do we need this particular text. Let's search for the sound icon, or basically the listening icon that we have. Sound is over there. Filter it by free only and select one of these sounds. Make sure the SVG is selected and insert it. Drag and drop it onto the place where we want to place it. Increase the size just that little bit, and the next step, you guessed it right, would be to change the color. Next, we're just gonna copy this and paste it over here. Make sure we remove that placeholder text that we got from the previous icon and put it over there, and add the effect of drop shadow and move that mic just that little bit closer so that the UI becomes, or the UI looks a little bit better. So yeah, that's how you created the second page as well. Now for the third page, again, most of these things are similar, so we're going to do the same thing. That is, press on Alt on your keyboard. Select the artboard, press on Alt and just drag and drop it right over there. So let us look at the design first. These two icons are the same one, and the circle is also the same, only this thing is changing. So let us remove the elements that we don't need. We don't need this, neither do we need the mic. We just need to reduce the size of the circle. Hold on to Shift so that it is symmetrical and place it right over there. Right, so the next step would be, I don't think we need any more icons. Yep, we don't need any more icons, so I'm going to close that. For the play button, we'll just make a triangle using the polygon tool, just like that. Reduce the corner radius to 3 on each side. Rotate it by 60 degrees. Not 60, what about 30? Not even 30. 45. Not even 45. What the hell is happening? Alright, I guess I forgot the math. um, it was actually minus 90. So minus 90 degrees. Change the color, of course, to the background color that we had, and move it on to the center. Let's put it a little bit up so we have the place to put in the Spotify as well as the Apple Music icon. Next, we'll be making a rectangle over here so that we can put in our image. Uh, Reduce that corner radius to maybe 20. 20 would be fine. Place it properly over there, that would be fine. And then we have the song name and the artist of the song and the band, of course BTS. Sorry for that. Let me add in the text first, right over there. Now I'm going to copy this, copy as text, do the same over here, Control V. Alright, it's not changing, so any which ways, select all, increase the size to 30, maybe not exactly 30. What about 24? 24 seems fine. We need to make sure that we put in the drop shadow for every single thing, because that is the theme of the UI that we are going with. Copy that, paste it over here, reduce the size down to 12. There you go. And the next thing would be to add the two icons for Spotify as well as Apple Music. So I'll just copy these icons from over here because I don't want to open my resource folder and put in the icons individually. So I'll put in the Spotify icon, and I've used the drop shadow for this as well, and I've changed the drop shadow color to green so that the Spotify looks a little bit popped up. And for Apple Music it was not required since the logo itself is black in color. So let's place the Apple Music icon over there. One more thing is missing, that is putting this listen on icon, so I'm just going to copy and paste it over here. I'm sorry there's a lot of copy and pasting, but that will just save the time because I don't want to overwhelm you guys with a long video. So that is the reason I don't want to do everything from scratch. Let's move this rectangle a little bit up over there, even the texts. And now we need to add the icon or the thumbnail of the song. So I'm going to copy that and paste it over there, just like that. And yep, the designing is pretty much done and dusted. So now the next step would be to prototype it. So for prototyping, it is quite easy. What we're going to do is let me just reduce this size. There you go. So we need to prototype in such a way that when a user long clicks on this icon, it takes, or basically taps on this icon, it starts listening, and after about 5 to 6 seconds, when he taps on it again, after he knows that the song would have been detected or heard enough by the UI, it should take them to this icon. And when they click on Spotify, since we don't have any locally downloaded songs or Apple Music, because I'm an Android user, I'll click on and so we'll make this Spotify button interactable, and when you click on this Spotify button, it will take you to the song itself. So let's select the very first artboard and click on prototype, add interactions. Well, not exactly on the page. You need to click this circle first, and click on add interactions. On tap, it will navigate to the Android 2 page, and let's do the same thing with this, but in the second way, that is just dragging and dropping over there. That is easy, but if you want to animate it, you can animate it as well. So now next one would be to click on Spotify, and it will okay, sorry for that. Let me just remove this first, because since I copied this from the previous page, the link is already there. So let me show you how to do it from the beginning. So I'll select the Spotify icon, I'll click on interactions, and on tap, it will open the link. I've copied the link on the notepad over here, so I'm just going to copy that and paste the link over here, which is the song link. So there you go, that was the prototyping, and now let's try and interact with the UI itself. So I'm going to click on play, close the previous one, and let's wait for the UI to actually load. It has been loaded, and let's tap on the circle to start detecting. It is listening right now. Let's tap again, and there you go, the song has been detected. And now let's click on Spotify, and it should probably open one of your default browsers, and it will take you to that particular Spotify link from where you can hear the song. Now, of course, this is on a laptop, so it won't actually show you the real one or the real song, or it'll open the app or anything. But just make note that once you make it for the application using Android Studio, you can add this interactivity quite easily using the content providers and the intents. So there you go. It has taken me to that particular song, and from over here, I'll be able to listen to it properly. So I guess that was it for the video. I hope I didn't overwhelm you guys, and I'm pretty sure now that you know how to now that you know the look and feel of Figma, you are waiting for trying out these new UI elements as well as the attributes. And I hope you guys will be able to make some really cool applications, not just for mobile, for for your presentations as well as for your web developments. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to leave a like if you did, and subscribe for more. And until then, happy coding time.